Hello everyone and welcome to this special announcement video. It's a little different from the other videos because it's a special announcement. I've been stating the obvious for years, ain't I? Folks, what I want to go over with you today is something that hopefully will bring the programming I provide to you a better production value, more constant release schedule, and allow me to focus more of my time on making programming that you get to watch. What is that? I'm launching a Patreon account that will support all of my media productions, unless otherwise listed as excluded, which basically is none of them. Open Source Tonight, Vince Film Reviews, and the Vincent Maggard channel, short films, documentaries, etc., all under one umbrella. And this is going to provide us a lot of interesting things for you, the viewers, to be able to consume. So let's jump right on into it. I'm going to talk a little about what the tiers do and what is in it for you as far as benefits with those tiers, and also some of the things that I'd like to be doing with, well, quite frankly, some of this money other than just general surviving, so I can focus more of my time on these videos. In addition to that, it's going to be funding things like potential upgrades in what I'm going to be releasing, things like that. Allow me to focus more time on it so I can do better sound, better picture, etc., rather than having to compromise. You know, like that over there, that noise. I have to compromise on that being in the sound mix because that's what happens when you film on location. Anyway, so the thing about it is, folks, there's two tiers. I figured we would start with two, and, you know, if people really want more, I suppose we could always add a third or a fourth one or a fifth one. There's only two, though. There is the production assistant tier, and there is the camera department tier. Production assistant will get you access to videos before they go public. That's usually at least a day early. Sometimes it's more, depending on exactly how filming goes, but you'll get them once that they're done, edited and color graded and sound mixed. You'll get them before the public does. So again, usually a day or two before, but it might be longer depending on the specific video and when I want to release it publicly. So you'll get that. In addition to that, you're going to be providing the general financial support. And so that's kind of the main things with it. But in addition to that, you're just going to be part of the team. You're going to get that end credit. Everybody's going to get an end credit at the end of my YouTube videos during the time that they funded production. So if that you pay for a month and I've shot 2 videos in the month, you'd get 2 credits. Okay? That kind of thing. So that is our PA level. It's the entry level. It's $1 a month. You know, we're very low cost here. That's as low as Patreon even lets me set a tier. So it's not free, but it's pretty close. So if you can't afford it, I hope you keep enjoying the videos. They're going to stay public, the ones that, and the style of stuff that I'm doing. So you're not going to be losing anything. It's just you won't be gaining the end credit and supporting me and my productions. Now, if you're camera department level, you get a few more things. Again, you get all of the ones in the basic tier, the actual PA level, but you're going to be paying a couple dollars more a month, obviously. And in addition to that, you're going to be getting things like exclusive BTS video and photos. So, for example, if you're curious about what I'm looking at right now, that might be something you'd see on the Patreon. You know, if you was to go and create an account right now and, you know, sign up. That is something that you can do. That's something you can do right now. No questions asked. You can do it right now. You can just go create the account and all that. So that is something that you'll get. Again, you're going to get that. I'm going to be doing behind the scenes, I guess you could almost call them trainings on how my cameras work and how I like to shoot things, kind of give you some insights into the way I do production. So if you want that, that is something else that I'm going to be putting in these videos, is just some insights into how I do what I do. So if you want to know how to do that, how I sound mix, how I color grade, how I edit, etc., 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 all those things and potentially more at some point in the future will be Patreon exclusives. In addition, if you're camera tier, I'll be doing exclusive episodes occasionally of things like Open Source Tonight, where they're only going to go on the Patreon. We will have things like Open Source Tonight videos all still be public, the main ones, but every once in a while I'll just throw out an extra one where I'm like, this is too geeky. I don't think that the general audience would probably be interested in this, but maybe the people that are literally paying money, they probably are enough of a nerd that they're into this, okay? And I do not mean nerd in a bad way, of course. So my point of the matter is, folks, is that if you're interested in some of those tiers, benefits, check them out. Please do. You can see a full list of benefits on the website, and I'll have a link in the YouTube video description that you're looking at this on to the Patreon. So everybody, you know, I really hope to see your support. Now let's talk a little bit about goals. What would I like to use this money for other than just general support and be able to make what I'm already making? Well, I'd like to do some things that are not currently listed. Eventually, it would be wonderful to make a feature-length documentary, and funding is kind of something I need for the ones I'm thinking about doing that on. It requires travel and such, and those expenses add up quickly, so that's a big one. They also potentially could require things like production insurance and errors and emissions if you want to be really safe, and I generally do want to be a little safer on the risk thing. But I also would like to do some mini docs, and mini docs, just so you understand, what I mean them for is for YouTube and my websites and such. These are things that are going to be available to the public for free. At least that's my present plan. If people want to pay a $2 or $3 for a mini doc, maybe one of these days I might consider charging for that. But I really don't think in my mind that a mini doc is worth financial support. My viewers may disagree with me. If you do, please let me know. But I think that is something just to put out there and say, look, this is something I'm going to give it out to everybody. This isn't even going to be exclusives. However, I may do a mini doc occasionally that is exclusive just to the Patreon camera tier. Maybe that's up in the air, but I might. It's not something I'm opposed to. But anyway, that is something you're going to get. I'm presently working on a mini doc that will hopefully be coming out in the near future about this thing called educational/informative programming, and a little bit about Fred Rogers, kind of my thoughts on Fred Rogers, a little bit mixed together into a little mini doc. It probably will be 15 to 20 minutes in duration. So relatively short running time. Again, that's one of the reasons I'm calling these mini docs. You might also call them like a short television documentary, but they're not technically going on television. And in addition to that, eventually I would love to do some potentially, again, a feature film, potentially on something like Mammoth Cave. That's something I've been wanting to do for over a year now almost. It's been quite close to a year that I've really wanted to do that. I've been exploring that. I really started to explore it last April. And I would love to be able to make that film come to pass as well. But to do that, I really just don't have the financial support. So your donations, your subscriptions, I should say, are going to go directly into making things like that happen if I can get enough support, financial support for these things. So again, none of these are guaranteed as far as future productions. But if we meet the goals I'm looking to do, then hopefully we will. At this point, I don't want to release financial goals, specifically exact numbers yet. That is something I may do in the future. I want to make sure I get those numbers right. I don't want to misquote something and disappoint or something. So that is something that will be done later. All right. Additionally to all of those things, okay? There's one other thing that I want to point out as well. And that is that I would love to be able to release especially my feature-length documentaries on PBS. But to do that, I would need your legal names. I don't know if any of you would have a problem with that. I assume some of you might. And so that is something that I have debated on whether or not that I'm going to make that a requirement. I honestly still don't know. But that is something that I don't make it a requirement, and I did do something like that Mammoth Cave doc and want it to be aired, like say on our statewide PBS affiliate, I would need all of your names, legal names for everybody that had donated during the production time window, as far as I understand. I'm not a lawyer, so I might be wrong on this, and they would need to be credited. So either on the website or the video, I think both actually. But anyway, again, I'm not a lawyer, not an expert on public television underwriting either, but I believe that was the way it would have to be. So, folks, that's something to keep in mind is I think if I was to go that way, that would be another consideration. I may not. I would like to point out that the Mammoth Cave doc, I want that to be a theatrically released feature film. It probably will not be in most markets. I'd like it to at least be in my local market. I have talked to my local exhibitor, and they're on board from the looks of it. Not necessarily on writing, but it sounds like that they're probably going to do it. Again, not 100% guaranteed at this point, but I think it might happen. Other exhibitors, I would love to take it as well. And for those that don't know, exhibitor is just a word for movie theater operator, basically. That's what they are called officially. So if you're a movie theater operator and you would like a feature-length documentary that I would like to make about Mammoth Cave, I'm happy to get in touch with you, or you get into touch with me, and let's make this happen. Let's get it on your screens. Let's get that sound playing through your surround. Anyway, so folks, that is some things I'd like to be able to do. Eventually, some other things I'd like to do, I would like to actually offer a download of not all, but some of the productions that I'm making available. Probably AV1 video compressed video feed that you can play offline and you can have a copy of. In addition to having that, if I did do that, the audio in that would be 5.1 surround. I would like to start offering surround. That is a long-term goal. I do not have the capacity at this point to properly mix home or theatrical surround sound correctly. If I can make enough money with this, I will be able to afford to do the proper purchases of speakers and amplifiers to get a properly calibrated and set up environment to do just that. So if you're interested in surround, that's another thing that might be coming in the future if we can just get to the point that I have enough cash to do it. So folks, anyway, I thank you so much for taking the time to hear me out on this. I understand that all of you are going to be able to afford to do this, and that's okay. If you can't, I hope you keep watching and enjoying what I'm making for free. But if you can support me and you would like to, again, link in the description. Thank you all so much. The only thing I'm going to leave you with other than what I've already said is this. Nothing that is public facing, I've said it before a little bit, but just to make it clear, is going to change. Open Source Tonight will still release. All the channel videos on Vincent Maggard, on Vince Film Reviews, all that will stay the same. You're supporting by donating your, well, I guess donating is the word, but submitting your money every month by being a subscriber, by being a member, you are providing for that content to be able to be free for everybody and to allow me to make a living and to be able to make better productions in the future. But other than the exclusives, which are going to be new things for the most part, except for occasional bonus ones, the public's still going to get everything. So if you're used to what you're getting, don't worry. I'm still giving you all that. I'm not going to lock that all behind a paywall, the stuff that's already public, that kind of style of things. Well, folks, thanks for watching, and please let me know if you have any thoughts or questions in the comments. Goodbye, everybody. And action.